What's good, everyone? This is Dale from Upstate Bets and DFS. I'm here with my partner Riaz, bringing you guys this five-game slate here on Tuesday for NBA. It's also Taco Tuesday here on PrizePicks. So if you've never played PrizePicks before, Taco Tuesday, they give you discounts on certain props. So right now, we have an NFL taco that's offering Jalen Hurts 149.5 passing yards. The cool thing about PrizePicks is you can take that Hurts prop and you can pair it up with Cade Cunningham. You can mix and match sports. If you haven't signed up yet, you can sign up using promo code Upstate. That'll give you a 100% deposit match. So if you put in 100, you get 100 back to play with. So you're pretty much doubling your money instantly. Awesome time to play when there's both NFL and NBA. Got some Tuesday NFL games. We don't have a video on that, but we do offer a Patreon where you can find information on the NFL game. We have articles covering that. And then, we're going to talk about this NBA slate. A lot of, COVID things going on in NBA, but we still have some really good games. And Riaz, if you want to let them know about the Patreon, I know it's still fairly new. We're trying to get some more people signed up.
Yeah, we dropped the Patreon yesterday for the NFL and Monday NBA. We went 5-0 on NBA, which was incredible. Dale went 2-1 for his NFL picks. I went 2-2, so not a bad night at all. I mean, if you signed up, you definitely got your money's worth. So definitely come check it out. It's at www.patreon.com/upstate.
Yeah, and the link is also in the description. For less than $1 a day, I mean, you're getting, my picks, Riaz's picks, great value. I mean, if you were in the Patreon last night, I mean, you could have won. You pretty much could have won for the year. Realistically, you could have got it. You could have had a really nice night last night with some picks. But we'll hopefully have a really solid night tonight as well, man. I mean, NFL, NBA, let's mix and match them. Here, we're just gonna talk some NBA, some guys that we like, and we're gonna start in points, Riaz. So, is there anyone here that you're particularly on?
Yeah, I like Cade Cunningham. He's sitting at 17 and a half. We've seen him hit three out of the last five. Just an awful game against Miami, which is kind of what you could expect against Miami. I mean, they just play unbelievable defense. They have a ton of guards that step in off the bench, starting. They're just full of guards, and they play phenomenal defense. Even though Butler's out and Bam's out, uh, it's just a tough matchup. But tonight, he's going against the Knicks. They haven't played yet before, but we've seen games where he just gets it going early, and that's what I can see here. I think there's going to be a lot of points given up here. The Knicks ranked mid tier defensive wise, so definitely a great matchup for him tonight.
Yeah, I like Cade as well. I mean, he didn't shoot the ball very well last time. It's not even that not really he didn't even shoot it well. He just didn't shoot a lot. I'm really curious on why he only took 4 shots from the field. And, hopefully a bounce back spot tonight. They need Cade to be shooting more shots and then for them to stay pretty competitive in a lot of these games. Going against the Knicks tonight, I think he's in a really solid spot. I think me and Riaz both believe he's going to develop into like a 21 point per game score. So I think 17 is still a solid discount. We'll see where the tacos end up. For me, scrolling down a little bit, you're still dealing with Luka being out. We got this Lakers and Suns game that looks pretty good here at the bottom. Realistically, there's a couple guys here that I'm on. I like Mikal Bridges at the bottom. I think he's been playing really well. He's averaging 13 in his last 5 games. Only once he went under, and that was against Portland. However, the Lakers, aren't the best defensively, so he's in a solid spot tonight. And then, I think that's pretty much about it for me here in the points.
Yeah, let's go over to rebounds.
Rebounds wise, it's not really a popular pick. I mean, I bet people are going back on Valanciunas here. Are not going to go back on Valanciunas after his down game against Milwaukee. But for me, I'm going back at him. I expect a bounce back game here. We know his ceiling as a player. Portland, you have Nurkic, who's been getting a lot of solid run lately, but we saw him foul out in like 15 minutes the other game. So that realistically could happen tonight. I think regardless with Nurkic in or not, I think this is a really solid matchup between these two guys, and I think Valanciunas can get the best of him here in terms of rebounding, and I think he can have a really solid game.
Yeah, without a doubt. I'm on Isaiah Stewart. I think this game in general is going to be phenomenal. And at 8.5, it just still seems too low for me. And we've seen him go out just a bunch of times this year where he is getting 10, 11 boards. And not only that, I mean, he's been scoring phenomenally. So I can see him playing a bunch of minutes still, and the Knicks play big with Nerlens Noel coming back in with Julius Randle. They're gonna need Stewart to be down low, just bringing a presence tonight.
He's been playing really well as well, man. I mean, I really like him here in the spot. I think he's a guy that's going overlooked. His line is still really low, has potential to really go out there and give you that ceiling of like 15 rebounds. So I really like him in that spot. Some other guys down here, I mean, like, you can always go to someone like LeBron or Westbrook that offer you that triple double upside. Lakers are out without Anthony Davis, so they could need a boost in the rebounding, but that also could give DeAndre Ayton a little bit of uptick down there. Anyone else here or over an assist category? I mean, between you, we can stay in rebounds or we can hop over there.
Yeah, let's hop over to assists.
Who do you like over here?
There's a bunch of guys that I do like. Brunson is not a bad guy to look at considering just the upside he has with Luca and with Porzingis playing really well. It's a great guy to kind of lean to for getting your assists. He's hit 3 out of the last 5, averaging 6.4. But against OKC, he had an awful game. He had 3 assists, and then against the Pacers, that play very good defense, 1 assist is tough. But 11, 9, and 8, it's really hard not to go back to him tonight.
I mean, I believe the same thing in terms of Jalen Brunson. I think he looks really good, and those 2 games he had, these past 3 games he had where he went over, he looked really good, and we've seen him without Luca being in there, just being a really solid playmaker. So he's really good tonight. Cade Cunningham, really against Miami and Houston, back-to-back double-digit assist games. The fact that he only shot 4 shots last game against Miami, struggled, was still able to get you there and assist was really nice to see. So he's a guy that you can look to tonight as well. Even Sabonis can make plays. In the front court, and he's a guy that has a decent ceiling, triple double factor. I think he looks really good. I think people might be off him from that Warriors game, but realistically at 4.5, this looks really good as well.
Yeah, and even Chris Paul, it's kind of tough not to get to Chris Paul. At 9.5, it seems like every given night he's gonna get to 10, and with Booker being back, that only helps his assists. He can lay off the scoring and kind of let Aiton and Devin Booker kind of do their thing.
I agree. And the Lakers, they give up a lot of assists. They're about middle of the pack in terms of giving up assists to opposing point guards. And Chris Paul, I feel like he plays better against the superstars. He steps up in that big game, realistically. And I think him going against LeBron. I play a little bit of narrative where maybe Paul wants to show out. Phoenix has been good this year. They've been, they were obviously been, a good team last year, and the Lakers have been struggling. So he looks pretty good tonight. And in terms of 3 pointers made, another Pistons guy that I like too is Sadiq Bey. I mean, he's been playing really well, shooting the ball really good. I mean, he's not going to wow you realistically. I don't expect him to go out there and hit 6, 7 3 pointers. But he's been shooting them, man. I mean, he shot 8. In that game against Indiana, and then he went down to 7, then 6. So, 10 is the ceiling we've seen so far this season, and that came against Miami, really early on in the season. So I think this is a really good spot for him against the Knicks, especially if Cade decides to, lay low on the scoring. Hopefully he doesn't, but if Cade decides not to put up as many shots, more opportunities for Sadiq Bey to kind of put up some more threes. So I think he looks really good.
Without a doubt. I mean, 4 out of the last 5 making three. It's just been a great performance out of Sadiq Bey. I want to go back to Kyle Lowry just on the fact that all those guys are still out, and we know the scoring production he's going to need against the Pacers here. I mean, the Pacers put up a bunch of points, and the fact that his line's still just creeping around 2.5, where it's at right now, I really believe he can go out and continue just hitting a bunch of threes. And the 2 times that he missed, he was at 2, and the volume of shots that he puts up from deep is kind of crazy when those guys miss. So I'm going to go back to Kyle Lowry tonight.
I like Lowry as well. I mean, the past 2 games, they're going against Orlando and Detroit. I mean, 2 not very good teams. Indiana could keep this one pretty competitive. I think this could be a solid spot for Lowry to kind of just start chucking a little bit. And that Philly game, it was a real big sweat. I remember that coming right down to the wire where he was just had 2, and then he finally hit 1 right at the end in the fourth. That was really nice to see. So let's hope he can kind of just get us there real early on so we don't have to worry about it. But yeah, Lowry looks really good, man. And in terms of 3 pointers, anyone else here? I mean, Hardaway's a guy that's going to shoot them. Even someone like Bi doesn't. Realistically, I don't know though.
Yeah, I mean, 3.5 for Hardaway just seems like a lot. And then with Brandon Ingram, he kind of reminds me of like a Jimmy Butler, where there is some games he could go out like he did against Milwaukee and make three, but realistically, I just don't see him getting there. His mid-range jumper is just where he really makes a living, and it doesn't take that many threes. But Jalen Brunson at 1.5, I mean, that's a good line for him. We've seen him hit two back-to-back times so far, two out of the last five, which isn't that great, but he shoots a good percentage of them, and especially with Luka out and Porzingis questionable tonight. If Porzingis does miss, I would really rely on Jalen Brunson to make 1.5 threes tonight.
I mean, Devontae Graham as well. I mean, he shot 10 3-pointers the game before last game, so 2 games ago against OKC and then 12 against Milwaukee. I mean, realistically, the volume's there. He hit 8 3-pointers against Milwaukee, 5 against OKC. I mean, for him to be at 3, the opportunity to still kind of push on that. His last 5 doesn't even look that bad, really, if you're kind of just game log watching. He can shoot the ball, he really can, and New Orleans can keep this game really competitive. So he's a guy that realistically, just in terms of volume, almost looks the best out of these 9 players. So, in a fantasy score, a bunch of guys here. Is there anyone that you're really on?
The the one guy that it kind of seems like a good discount, and that's Westbrook. Uh, at 41, no AD. This is a tough matchup against the Suns here tonight, and I think Westbrook has got to be. He's got to be on tonight, and I can see him doing that. I mean, we see his assists at 7, his points are at 19 and a half, and that's kind of the game we're going to need out of Westbrook tonight. Just the fact that no AD just puts so much more pressure on Westbrook than it does LeBron, because we know what we're going to get with LeBron every single night. I can't really see getting to that 50 with LeBron, but definitely 41. Westbrook just has too much upside with his triple doubles, his double doubles. He just had 45.8 against Chicago, which is also another good team. So we know Westbrook likes to put on a show, and especially the 10 o'clock game against this Phoenix Suns team, I expect him to play very, very well.
Yeah, him and Chris Paul really should go at it, and the fact that uh, you get the boost in the other categories. Like, I mean, enough said about Russell Westbrook realistically as a player. I mean, I know he struggled sometimes this season, but other than that, it's a couple guys like Hart's, realistically can do it for you in other categories. He just had a pretty good game against Milwaukee at 41. But 31 just seems pretty high for me. If he was at like 28ish, it would look really good. These Pacers guys, I don't really want to touch any of these four. Now with Brogdon back, LeVert looked good, but now we got the Brogdon news, him being back. But Fournier, I wanted to take a look at him. Played over 40 minutes last game. Looked really good. If he's going to get that same volume and he's going to be chucking like he was, I mean, 24 shot attempts, 4 for 10 from deep. I mean, that's significant. He had 32 points himself last game, scoring 43 minutes. I don't know if we're going to get that again here against Detroit, but that's something to take note of. With all the things going on in New York, injury wise, COVID wise, Fournier is a guy that if he plays, 40 minutes, it's hard to ignore 26 fantasy points. So just wanted to mention him as well.
Without a doubt. I mean, he could get that. He could hit over this fantasy score just in points like he did against Boston with 32. His scoring output, just the volume is crazy, and he's not much of a rebound and assist guy, but we've seen him pick up a couple steals. And I mean, when you play that amount of minutes, it's kind of hard not to have a couple assists and a couple rebounds to go along with your points. So definitely not a bad play, especially against this Detroit team.
Yeah, is there anyone else here on the entire board that you're really on? I mean, like I said, we have some NFL tonight. We'll mention some of that stuff in the Patreon, but other than that, is there anybody, Rios?
No, not really.
I think we're up for a solid night. A nice little board we got here. The Taco Tuesday discounts are always coming around. No NBA ones yet, but that, like I said, if you like one of these guys in NBA that we've talked about so far, and you want to pair it up with that Jalen Hurts prop, that one looks really good as well. So NFL, NBA, mix and match them. Should be a fun night. We'll catch you guys in the next video on Wednesday. Peace. Good luck tonight.